National Council for Arts and Culture, NCAC, plays a vital role in promoting and preserving Nigeria's rich cultural heritage. At its core, the NCAC's mission is to develop and drive policies that unlock the full commercial potential of Nigeria's cultural and creative industries. The NCAC's vision is built on the idea of elevating Nigeria's cultural and creative industries, showcasing Nigerian culture globally and fostering national unity and promoting positive identity. To achieve this, the Council focuses on promoting artistic innovation and collaboration, capacity building and skills development, and cultural development. In clear terms, how is the Council undertaking these responsibilities, and who are the partners in progress? This is the Eastern Eye. I'm Alex Obodo. Welcome to the Eastern Eye, a program that X-rays the political, social, and economic developments around us. Joining me tonight is Obi Asika, Director General, National Center for Arts and Culture. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thanks so much for having me.
On the Eastern Eye.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, I've not had the opportunity to congratulate you. It's been a while on the post, but congratulations still.
Thank you so much. Right. I appreciate that.
So, your organization is the one that sees Nigeria from a different lens. So, for people who are watching this and they really want to meet the National Council for Arts and Culture, what is it about beyond the vision, mission, the fancy things written?
Well, the National Council for Arts and Culture, first of all, wish us happy birthday. We're 50 years old this year.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been here for a while. We have 1,000 people in our organization, 22 locations in Nigeria. Enugu has our regional office for the Eastern region. So always happy to be in Enugu. You know, I grew up here, 042, as we say, for life. But you see, the NCAC is the convening agency on the culture side of the Federal Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism, and the Creative Economy. We have 8 other cultural organizations, and you know where my colleagues are, and they tend to have specific functions. But NCAC has cross-cutting mandate that crosses across all of their mandates, but we work in a collaborative fashion. I don't try to overstep into their mandates or affect anything they're doing without really having a strong conversation with them and seeing whether it is something that we can collaborate on, or I pass it over to them if it's something specific to their sector, which happens almost on a daily basis. But for NCAC, our primary concern and our primary mandate is to preserve, protect, and project Nigeria's living culture and to put it into everything Nigeria does, in public and in private sector, at local, state, and national levels, and of course internationally. So that's really our mandate. At the same time, when you think about when the NCAC was first established 50 years ago, and our last legal reform in 1987, you know that a lot has happened in that time. So you now have artificial intelligence, augmented reality, Web 3.0. Technology has changed everything, especially as it pertains to content, culture, creatives, and what I call the creator economy. So these are areas in which, you know, you have to really have a forward-looking gaze, but at the same time, we're trying to make sure we don't lose track of heritage and where we're coming from, but not to be afraid of technology and see how we can use technology to actually elevate and bring out even more of the culture. And I'll give a couple of examples. We're here in Enugu. There was the London Biennale this summer in London. Ledger, which is near Ncac, is a place where iron ore, 2,500 years old, carbon dated, one of the first places on earth that iron ore has existed. One of the first places where the man himself was able to control and affect metal. And that is something incredible. And that's a story that needed to be told. Congratulations to the team that put it together. And I hope we're going to be able to exhibit them at NAFEST later this year. Because one of the things that we're really trying to do is heritage sites, cultural destinations, cultural expressions. We believe strongly that every single state in Nigeria is fully endowed with all of these things, from fabrics to clothes to masquerades to dances to traditional music. And Enugu, of course, is also one of the original homes of Nollywood. So when we look at places like Enugu, I would say that Enugu is one of the places in Nigeria that has the biggest prospects and opportunities in the cultural and creative industries to actually have a multi-billion-dollar sector, not Naira, coming out of Enugu, because first of all, you have something like 33 tertiary institutions. So you got that young energy, you got the innovation, you got the digital side already happening here. And we've always had the creativity here, from the storytellers of yore to Nollywood to all the other things that have come out of Enugu, including the music, the fashion, the visual arts. But what needs to happen is the state itself, the state government and the people need to understand this is not vocation. This is not a hobby. This is serious business, right? We brought in today and yesterday, we had the Culture and Creative Economy Summit. And tomorrow we'll do our facility tour of Enugu, because NAFEST, the National Festival for Arts and Culture, which is Nigeria's Cultural Olympics, is coming to Enugu. We're going to be here November 22nd to 29th. We had 28 states and the FCT in Enugu right now. The commissioners of culture, the PermSecs, the state directors from all of these states, over 150 to 200 of them. We've been here at the Ncac Hotel, sitting down. Today we just finished our technical syllabus. So we're adding things to NAFEST to expand it, to bring it to the young people. So esports is added this year. The Eastern Nigeria Film Festival is part of us this year. The My Life in the City Festival, which has been going for a long time, will be part of us. So we're looking for people who are doing things in and around that period, the last week of November. Find us. We'll bring you into what we're doing. What we want to do is showcase the city, showcase the Enugu as a gateway to the east, and as one of the most cosmopolitan places in Nigeria with stunning attractions. The people that came here from all over Nigeria have had a great time so far. They can't wait to come back. And I've been showing off that Enugu is going to kill it and deliver the best NAFEST ever. Because look at the facilities you have, the conference center, Opera Square. Unfortunately, the stadium won't be ready for us, but we still have a number of other locations that we're going to be using. So for me, it's really about the business of culture, the business of entertainment, the business of media. All of this stuff has been here forever, but a lot of states have just looked past it, right? Tourism is a multi-billion, if not trillion-dollar ecosystem. Places like Enugu are blessed with everything. They've got an international airport, you have a vibrant population, and you're in a beautiful place. So what needs to happen is invest in destination marketing so that people can see what is here. Come in here and invest. It's a law of attraction. If you promote yourself, I can learn your story and I can connect. And storytelling is the key for every single state in Nigeria. And we say it every day. I've gone to the Nigerian Governors Forum to preach this. I've come here. I'm very, very happy with the reception we received from the governor. We've been very well received by the commissioner, Demogochi Madueke, and what we've had for the last 2 days. But one of the most important things for me is that I can see already that the energy we're bringing to it is being reciprocated from the states. So we approach certain states to see what can we do that's a little bit different and add to what happens anyway. Because in NAFEST this year, just for the young people so they know, it's not how it used to be. We already reformatted it. So we have the swag show. If you're into fashion and you think you got style, come and see these guys. Because all over Nigeria, you'd be amazed what comes out of this thing. The dance-off, the sing-off, the jollof wars, which is not just about jollof rice, it's about the national cuisine. So all these things, and the Nigeria Home Makeover Show, really want to present NAF as a TV experience as much as a live experience, so that even if you're sitting on your home or your phone, you're able to engage it, live with it. We're looking for people who want to make merch, make product, and sell it to people. I'm talking to some of the biggest players in Nigeria who are into this thing, said, let us use this as a platform to really tell the story of a city, of a people, of a region. And from there, we can all learn to celebrate each other, because our theme is connected culture.
That's right.
Right?
Okay, so I like the fact that you keep referencing NAFEST.
Yeah.
And I have childhood memories of NAFEST. I told you that before we came on set, and for someone who grew up at that time and now, imagine what a lot has changed about what young persons want to see. And
definitely,
it's interesting hearing all the changes that you are bringing to NAFEST. But currently, in Enugu, you are holding the Culture and Creative Economy Summit.
Yes.
The theme is monetizing culture and creative industries at the sub-national level. So there is some intention to really collaborate with the sub-nationals to also harness their own potentials. How is it faring? I mean, from what you've done in Enugu so far, You've had your keynote speaker already. That's Professor Lindsay Duthie, Pro-Chancellor for Academic Partnerships and Industry Engagement, University of Creative Arts in the UK.
Yeah.
So she was here. I think yesterday was the keynote.
Yes.
Just help us put it in perspective.
Well, first of all, I have to thank her for coming. It's her first time in West Africa, first time in Nigeria. And you know, sometimes when you give you the travel advisory, it's not the most positive thing. So getting on a plane and coming out here, I want to thank her for that. Thank the British Council as well. But some of the things that will be happening in NAFEST and some of the things that she spoke to. And one of the reasons I asked her to come, the University of the Creative Arts in the UK are partnered with NCAC. We're partnering with them for a number of reasons. First of all, they're 160 years old. They are one of the oldest institutions in the world focused on this ecosystem. Their curriculum runs through about 60 courses, from undergraduate to postgraduate to PhD. They have a business school that is, I think, 1963. So at the business school level, they're doing all of that, from fashion to music to film and TV to architecture, design, 3D modeling, printing. I was there. And 2 of their campuses, there are 4 campuses, 10,000 students, and something like 400 Nigerians who are actually there right now. So for state governments in Nigeria who give scholarships to talented people, University of the Creative Arts is one of the best places you can send. If you think about innovation, about design, about fashion, about technology, that's one of the best places in the world to go to. And they're partnered with us. So one of the reasons we asked her to come is because of her specific skill set. Apart from being Pro-Vice Chancellor, she also has a 30-year career in film and television. So she has industry relationships as well as academia. What this means is that when you come out of that university, you're directly connected to industry. You start working on day one. And I saw it myself with a bunch of the Nigerian kids who've come out, fashion designers, straight into London Fashion Week, straight into big platforms, big companies, major opportunities. And what we want to see in Nigeria is a lot of Nigerian talents is just natural talent. It's not honed. But when we can upgrade and update our curriculums in our existing university ecosystem, and people like UCA can actually partner, whether it was an IMT or some of the new universities that Enugu State is planning, even ESUT, things that they have purview over, and bring this technology, certification and curriculum into this ecosystem, in 3 to 5 years, I think the spurt will be enormous. And we're working with them on that and many other things. But the key thing was about, you mentioned our theme, monetizing the subnationals. I believe strongly, and this is also, I have to thank my minister for leadership on this issue, because she came up with a project called the Renaissance Project. I believe it's the first time in our sector that a minister came up with a project for the subnationals, where we asked the subnationals, what is your ideal sort of project you would like to see in your state in this space, bring that together. And she's taken that to the National Economic Council to get funding, support, and then bring it back to the states. I, from NCAC, in alignment with that, will also be supporting that, but also went to the Nigerian Governors Forum to talk about the sector, to talk about need for engagement, and for us, the governors, to look at the sector as an economic sector, not as a spend sector, as a revenue sector, to look at the assets in their states, that if you bleed the asset, you will make money. If you invest in your tourism destinations, your heritage sites, and your cultural expressions in your state, there is no state in Nigeria that cannot make $1 billion a year. There's no state. Some can make 10, some can make 20, but no state make less than $1 billion. So it's worthwhile to invest into that. The second thing is what animates this sector is the human beings. So any investment you're making is into the Nigerian. And I think that's the most important investment. And once you actually invest into the Nigerian, the return is exponential, because Nigerians are that talented. And what we have seen happen with Nollywood, with the music industry, with football, is that our best talents have been happening in spite of Nigeria, not because of Nigeria. And now what we want to do is try to make it because of Nigeria, because we are being very intentional, because we understand that the subnationals are the engine of growth for the country. I think at federal level, you can set policy, you can try to implement, but without the subnationals, you're talking to yourself. So I spent a lot of time talking to the subnationals, a lot of time engaging with them, trying to give them the information and support for them to engage their governors and chief executives at the state level. Because if the governors and chief executives align with us, and we had a very good presentation 3 weeks ago at the National Nigerian Governors Forum, if we can get full alignment, In an ideal world, we have a hub ecosystem called ICE, Innovation, Creativity, and Entrepreneurship. We'd like to have one in every state capital. And having in every state capital, that's 37, right? In 37, if you have footfall of 1,000 people a week, that's 37,000 every week. You multiply by 52, you're getting to 1.6 million in terms of direct impact. And this is just impact. I haven't talked about capacity building. I haven't talked about training. I haven't talked about talent, right? But those hubs, modular, all the same, digital labs, we're doing digital education, nominated school programs. So any schools within 15 kilometers can come in there, because we know our public schools lack computer facilities. They can come in there, they can schedule classes. We can get the kids from 6 years old to become digital natives, because that's the future and we need our people in these spaces. On top of that, that same facility can be an esports center after 6 p.m. So what we're looking for is multi-use facilities, green rooms for podcasting, music recording, film development in terms of fashion photography, film shoots, talking, what I call talking, shows that are based on talking heads, right? We're not going outside to shoot, but in a hub of this nature, if you look at the creator economy, look, 90% of the skits you see on YouTube or Instagram, those people have never been inside a studio in their life. But like I said to somebody once, Emanuela, by herself on YouTube, has consistently made more money than every Nigerian broadcaster since 2016. So just think about what that means. She has maybe Mark Angel might have 6 to 10 staff in Port Harcourt, no buildings, no facility, but it'd been generating $10 million a year for at least the last 9 years. And what that tells you is that storytelling is the key to everything. It's not about the equipment. Sometimes we obsess about equipment, but if you do storytelling at the right level and you connect emotionally, you will be successful. And I think we see that from all the creators across all the platforms, because right now, Nigerian creators, and I'd love to share something with you, which you can share with your audience. We just published in partnership with TM Global, who are a media company out of Abuja, and Communicate, who are really a young chap called David Adeleke, also out of Abuja. They do a media and information mailing list, about 49,000 subscribers, high level stuff. And they came and met us last year. They did an African creator economy report. And it was great. But I said to them, listen, let's do the first Nigerian creator economy report. Let's look at our own ecosystem. Let's have a better sense of it, because you know that funding follows data, right? And that data, we published the report at GITEX last week. On Thursday, it was released. I think we've had over 300 downloads since it was dropped. I hope we can get 3,000. Because we want to get everybody understanding and reading and seeing this is where it's happening, this is the value chain, this is how money is being made. And what that enables people to do is for more investors to support more creators, support more platforms. I would love to see more home digital platforms, because all our content right now is on foreign platforms.
That's right.
But that's the nature of, maybe that's the case in 200 countries.
Yeah, it comes with its own risks. Having all your major content on foreign platforms.
Yeah, one of the problems is that, for example, if you're at Davido, you have 30 million followers on Instagram. Something could happen tomorrow, Instagram could switch you off. And you can't do anything about it, right? It happened there's a Nigerian lady I met in Los Angeles, her name is Angela Wandu. She's like American born, but incredible. She owns a platform called The Shade Room. The Shade Room has 30 million followers or something. It's literally the biggest Black social sort of gossip site in America, and it sets the standard. And she actually had that same problem. I think she was at 10 million followers. They switched her off. And I was asking her, what was that like? That must be scary. You've built your thing, and then they cut you off, and you have no recourse. So we're looking at, from NCAC, we're working with a lot of partners to build digital platforms for our ecosystem. And it's one of the reasons why, with the minister's assent and permission, about a month ago, we inaugurated the Council for Creative Technology Futures, which is focused on emerging technologies and how they affect this sector. There's a disproportionate impact of technology on storytelling, on IP, and on how you tell the story, how you make a film. And if you see what's happening with music and films, there are TV channels, I can tell you, in Nigeria that have already started all 24/7 AI programming. They're planning to go live this month. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm saying, God, the impact of this is already massive. It's not a potential thing. So we felt that, yes, there's a national AI policy. Digital economy is doing their thing for the whole country. But our sector is so special. We need a specific focus. So we've set this up. We have global Nigerians on board from all over the place who have incredible experience. They're not all technology people.
That's right.
IP lawyers, bankers, long-time business people and entrepreneurs. But the value that we get when they all come together is they understand the ecosystem, they understand what's happening in the world. And we want to make sure that in this iteration of technology, we Nigerians and Africans are not reacting. We're right here at the cutting edge. We have people today who are already dominant in Web 3.0, in AI, in all these spaces. So it's not like when the internet came, we didn't have anybody. So we all had to catch up. But we have people today. The AI Academy set up by the digital economy has 3,000 people who are building solutions. That's the kind of thing you want to see. And I want to encourage anybody who's in the tech space in Nigeria, who's in the digital space, think about building solutions for the cultural and creative industries. Because trust me, there's a lot of money there.
I mean, you kept referencing a lot of high-tech stuff and how young people can be attracted. But, it won't be easy to sell our culture. It won't be easy to sell all this fancy stuff if people don't know how to sell it. So capacity building is key. You
100%.
spoke about it. Can you help us also expand on what you plan to do and who you are collaborating with?
Well, in terms of capacity building, and thank you for the question, we're doing a number of things. Of course, some of these things you're restricted by your budget and your ability to reach the market. But I'm hoping to be able to make some big announcements in the coming weeks. We had some very good conversations. And I can tell you that, for example, the British Council have a platform called So Creative. So Creative was created during COVID. It's an online e-learning platform for the CCI, the cultural and creative industries, with masterclasses, key courses that give people deep knowledge to go out and practice and execute those skills. So we are partnering with them. We're going to deploy it at scale. RATAL, which is the Radio and Television Workers Union, the president is here with us, and he's from Anambra, actually. He's here with us, and we have a partnership we're building with them because they have 12.3 million members. So I'm like, we can offer you free capacity building. And we do that at scale for the platform that we have. That's massive as well. So what we're trying to do is working with these partners, also working with the UNDP, the British Council, and a couple of private sector partners. We hope to be able to deliver a number of major platforms through the funnel to the people. So that's on the capacity building side. We also have, the minister has something called CLAP, the Creative Leap Accelerator Platform, which is approved by FEC. It's up. You can go to clapnigeria.ng and come out there. There are master classes, there's information. Then we have a data platform. People always say, where's the information? DT 2030, it's there. We're having data. Later next week, we have a summit for investors at the high level. That's DFIs, development financial institutions, investment banks, venture capital firms, VC firms, private equity, and some retail banks, but also insurance companies, asset management companies, to bring them into a room to show them the business case for this sector. Because the minister has managed to complete with her team the full data mapping of at least 10 parts, 10 segments of our sector. When you look at the MBS rebasing, and I was at the MBS session with the DG and a team of professors, the economists. I was a bit intimidated. I just had to be with like 5 professors. I just tell them, I said, you guys are misallocating our sector. You're putting big segments of my sector under technology, under this, but it's our sector, the CCI. So you put us at 1.5, we put ourselves at 4.5% of the GDP today. If you add tourism, which is 2.5, we're 6. If you add telco, because really telco is the rails. Telco is no longer about voice. It's about content and distribution. So you look at telco as the rails, then you will know that we are over 10% of the economy. When you're over 10% of the economy, we're not talking about speculation. I'm not talking about potential. I'm talking about now. And what that means is we want to change the conversation. So don't have a situation where commissioners are going cap in hand to beg the governor. No, well, the governor to be waking up thinking, my God, I can put all the money in here. And what am I going to do? I'm going to impact jobs. I'm going to impact young people. I'm going to give them inspiration and hope, an opportunity. And in doing that, I create a funnel where people can go and earn. And we have something called Discover Niger, which is also coming. If you look at ICE as the capacity building side, Discover Niger is the talent discovery, right? And that's going to cross the creator ecosystem, at least 10 verticals. We have some of the biggest Nigerian creators on board. to do their own curated playlists. And this is going to go out across everywhere. So what we're just waiting for now is that beautiful thing called the money. So we can push through, roll out in Q4 this year, and really push out something that is tangible, that affects everybody. We're trying to see how we can get our Enugu hub, the regional office, active before NAFEST. Because at NAFEST, we're expecting close to 10,000 competitors into Enugu, and over the course of the week, well over 100,000 live spectators because of the range of events and things that will be happening. And for that to happen efficiently, our hub needs to be operational because we can really push a lot of stuff through. So the key thing about this sector is that it delivers jobs, it delivers economic growth. We have the population, our average age is 18, right? And if you give them the tools, we have seen it already, that if you give Nigerians the tools and the opportunity, they'll find their way. So what we're trying to do is, we're not trying to do it for the people. We want to do it for the ecosystem. We're not going to hold your hand all the way through. But of course, there are mentors, there are trainers. There's all sorts of ways you can support individual enterprise, but also pushing collaboration at scale so that the subnational, the national come together with one agenda, which is to grow the ecosystem, to get to that $100 billion by 2030 and $250 billion by 2035. And if you think about that in the context of this economy, and the amount of jobs it can deliver, the amount of things that it can make happen, then I think we understand why it's such an important economic conversation.
Thank you so much. We'll take a break here on the Eastern Eye. When we return, we will find out exactly what NAFEST is all about, and it's coming to Enugu later in the year. And Obi Asika will be telling us exactly what to expect at NAFEST. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Eastern Eye here on Afia TV, a program that X-rays the political, social, and economic developments around us. My name is Alex Owodo. I still have the Director General of the NCAC, that's the National Council for Arts and Culture, Obi Asika. So, NAFEST, don't mind me, I have a childhood thing about NAFEST. It's coming to Enugu.
Yes.
So, tell us what it's about. If someone is hearing about NAFEST for the first time, in a nutshell, what is it about?
It's Nigeria's Cultural Olympics. So they're competitive categories, 15 to 16 of them. And the states of Nigeria come together to compete. So we look at who's the best dance, who has the best dance team in the dance of Nigeria. And I can tell you the sing-off, who's got the best singers. The Jollof Wars, who cooks the best food. The Jollof Wars is not just jollof rice. On the last day of the event, they do jollof rice, but it's really these national dishes, right? The Niger home makeover. So basically everybody gets the same blank space and they have to furnish it with Nigerian fabrics, their own indigenous stuff, and give us a model room. And I saw some incredible stuff last year in Abuja, and we're going to see some incredible stuff this year in Enugu. Apart from that, you have the children's essay writing competition, the children's culture quiz. These traditionally used to be through the national secondary schools, and then it comes to the NAFEST. It's been adapted a bit, but it's still a very big platform. Then we have the Dambe boxing, right, which is traditional boxing from the north. And this year, because we're in the east, we're going to have the traditional wrestling as well. And you're also going to have the board games. So Ayo is very competitive. You'd be amazed. There's a lady from Bayelsa who has won the Ayo thing, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 times. And, you know, some of these people the states are very, very competitive. So that in itself is a spectacle. And last year we saw it because we reformatted most of these things. We changed it from being the cooking show to Jollof Wars, so to bring it down so that the younger people can engage it. We saw incredible things coming. The connected culture thing meant that all the states now delivered a blended offering. And, you know, personally, I was shocked to see states like Nasarawa win the dance-off. I think they won the dance-off. They were incredible. I called Kafi and I was like, listen, you need to come and see these people. There's so much talent all over Nigeria, and we got to see it expressed in its truest form. And that's what happens at NAFEST. On top of that, we have the colloquium, which is a lecture with an honorary speaker. Ed Kizot, who's a historian, lawyer, and I know is a friend of this house, was our keynote speaker last year with an eminent panel discussing what he was talking about. We haven't yet settled on who will do that this year. We have some added elements. We've added esports to the agenda this year. But with esports, we're not just doing esports. We're not just going to come and play FIFA. So playing with the indigenous gaming studios, the gaming studios who have created indigenous games that are available on mobile platforms, Kasala, Rise of the Orisha, there's several of these things. So we're going to do that. So esports is a massive growing segment in this ecosystem. Enugu actually has a big gaming ecosystem. So we're working with the Esports Federation to make that happen. We're bringing the African Music Business Conference to Enugu as part of NAFEST. Because there's music talent all over Enugu, all over the East, and even all over Nigeria through the states that are coming here. So we want to give them the opportunity to meet, to get master classes, to get guidance on discovery, production, and how you get to the top. At the same time, the British Council, who are strong partners to us, are going to do 3 days of a program they call the Creative Hustle, which is full workshops. I think they last did it in Enugu in 2017. But I'm saying this really for the universities in town, so they all know it's free for them. Film, fashion, and music. Those are 3 one-day workshops during NAFEST. So think about that. There are 3 one-day workshops from British Council. Goethe Institute is going to do something one day. And the African Music Business Conference is one day. That's the 5 days of the week. Apart from the competitive stuff that is happening, apart from the stuff that you'll be seeing on television, apart from the parties and every other thing that'll be bringing Enugu alive in that period. And then most importantly, NAFEST is positioned as the gateway to Dirty December. We finish on November 29th.
I was coming there.
We'll finish on November 29th. We're working on Dirty December at the national level. There's some things I can't talk about now, but Enugu's part of that plan as well. And I think the most important thing
is Enugu Air too.
Of course. Well, Enugu Air is part of NAFEST. I mean, you already know. And the thing about it is, as Enugu develops more and more of these assets, it makes it easier for more talent to come here, for more events to come here, for more people in Enugu to get exposure at the national and global level. And that's really what it's about. Because trust me, the professor who came into Afia TV this morning and did her interview, did her keynote yesterday, all the people who are going to watch that interview, 90% of her ecosystem have never heard of Enugu. They don't know where it is, but they're going to go search it out. What was it like? Where is the place? And you never know. Some of them might come back in November. The British Council will be back. They were here today. They were here yesterday. And that's what we're trying to do, to create opportunities for everybody to fertilize and grow. And I think that's the role of the NCAC. That's the role of NAFEST. If you just look at NAFEST as a platform for expression, for celebration, yes, there's a competitive side. Somebody wins it. But as I said to them earlier today, for me, in my perspective, I don't care who wins, right? What I care is that we have a level playing ground. Everybody has an opportunity to shine, and we can celebrate everybody. Because when you do that in a form of connected culture, right? We're looking for the connections in the culture. We're not looking for the diversity. We're looking for the connections. We know about the diversity, but we want to translate the culture and do the connections. And there's some other special things coming as well. I approached the Nigerian military because since I was a kid, I was fascinated by the Nigerian parades, the military parades. And I can tell you, I'm happy to confirm, the Chief of Defense Staff has confirmed to us they're going to spend a special crack squad to help us in the opening ceremony, do special military drill parades, which I think is going to be incredible. And most people may not have seen that live before. But that day in Obara Square, they're going to see it live.
Yeah, I mean, I love that part because I'm fascinated by slow march.
You see what I'm saying? But I said the final one, because I've never seen it myself. And I have to thank him today. I haven't even met him, but I have to thank him because it was his team I spoke to, and they said, oh, he's going to love it and he's going to approve it. And he did. They were right. The governor of Katsina State, who is chairman of the Northwest Governors Forum, and they are coming to NAFEST in a big way. He has approved, and they are sending 100 ceremonial horses to participate in the opening ceremony of NAFEST for the first Durbar that I am aware of that will happen in the south of Nigeria. And I think it's a beautiful thing because, just seeing the splendor, the color, understanding the culture, because, the Durbar is basically the same as the Ofala. It is the day that the community comes out to hail the chief, hail the king. That's all it is. And sometimes in culture, we don't see beyond each other because we get confused. But once you translate it, oh, that's what it is. And that's exactly what it is. Ojurioba in Ijebu is exactly the same thing. And my brother and my friend, who's ambassador for us, Mr. Stees, we made him an ambassador first. Everybody else followed. And he knows that, I know that, but we did it, I was intentional because we know that what he did there was so authentic. It had gone so viral that Ojure Oba in 2025 got 2.7 billion naira from sponsors. So why shouldn't every other festival, whether it's the ones in Enugu or Fala and Onitsha, New Yam festivals, attract similar sums? All it takes is investment and storytelling and destination marketing. If you do those three things and deliver an experience, the brands are going to come. Because what else are the brands going to do? You know, the world has changed. The power is not with the brands, it's with the people. So it's about the product you deliver, it's about what you're selling and how you sell it. So if you don't produce your festival, you can't expect the return. If you just do coverage, whatever, it's not the same thing.
So it's about the footfalls, the eyeballs, and the taste buds. That's what it is. So your mandate is to index, preserve, promote, and present. And from what you've seen, and I've been monitoring some of your posts in the past, you've had to bring on board some ambassadors in your.
We sort of slowed down on it because, but we're going to. What we're going to do, because we're 50 this year.
That's right.
We're hoping to do a culture 100 at Christmas to celebrate the ambassadors,
great.
And we'll have 100 of them.
So at the end of the day, it's about presenting Nigeria's culture in a way that it's indelible everywhere. But now visibility is a key thing.
Of course.
How do you make it visible to everyone?
Well, I think
everywhere, almost at the same time.
You see, the crazy thing is this: you just even said it without knowing. The Nigerian soft power brand approved by FEC, right? It's called Nigeria Everywhere. You see what I'm saying? It's called Nigeria Everywhere. And when I say to Nigerians, actually, that's true. We are everywhere, and that's the point. We are everywhere, and we animate every single space we're in. Anywhere I am in the world, if I see 100 black people, I can tell you the Nigerians from 100 yards. They're the ones with the attitude. They're the loud ones. They're the ones hailing everybody from far. And it is what it is. We are who we are. And the truth of the matter is, we're special, you know? And when you understand that, then you could move on. I said, don't fight them, just understand them, right? It's not arrogance, it's confidence. You know, somebody said it's Niger attitude, whatever you want to call it. But the thing about it is, we can't do it alone. We're not sitting here with incredible budgets. So it's a function of working with the community. You know, someone like Davido he's a digital nation by himself. He has 67 million followers in social media. So if David wakes up tomorrow and says, Nigeria everywhere, you know it's bigger and more important than me saying it. Do you understand? So we're working with all of these guys in different ways to propagate the same basic idea that the Nigerians are special. The Nigerians bring something unique to the table. That thing that we bring unique to the table, if you bottle it, it's worth trillions of dollars. So what we need to do is be intentional and invest into ourselves and into our own opportunities. And these opportunities and these people are sitting in every inch of Nigeria. And that's the fundamental message. Whether you're on Kafanchan or you're on Enugu, whether you're on Onitsha or you're on Bayelsa, it doesn't really matter. The talent is everywhere. The content is everywhere. The cultural expressions and attractions are everywhere. The destinations. We have rainforest to desert. We have the swamps, mangrove swamps to the plateaus. So Nigeria has it all, but sometimes we don't see it because they're so busy doing other things. But what we say is that this is Nigerian soft power. It's our time. It's the African century. And that century is being driven by the Nigerian narrative. Afrobeats, Nollywood, all these things went global in spite of the ecosystem not fully backing it. But now, for the first time, we have a ministry. We have a minister that's leading at a high rate of knots. We have a serious team that is focused. And as we're all building to unlock resources, the Creative Economy Development Fund, which has $200 million seed funding from Afrexim Bank, was launched, I think it was May 30th, right? Or April 30th. The first round, it closed June 30th in terms of the RFPs for phase one. That was for over 3,000 applications for $300 million. First quarter next year, you begin to see disbursements. The second phase is on now, till October 1st. So please, cedf.ng or cedf.com.ng, Creative Economy Development Fund, $100,000 and below for grants, blended equity, blended finance. And guess what? The last time I checked, last week, there's 50-something thousand applicants. So the information is getting out there. People are beginning to become aware that this is real And as long as we can get people to understand that it's real, and the real players are the ones who are going to get funded, right? When you see who gets funded, you'll understand why they got funded. And I think that's really, really important, because in Nigeria, we're visual people. Seeing is believing. So you need to validate every single thing we do, and validate it with fact, not fiction, which is why we spent so much time working on the roadmap, working on data, economics, so that when we get to the bankers, the finance, the National Assembly, my main time is spent on advocacy. It's not about, I don't need to talk to the artists. I do, but that's not the work. The work is to get the guys who control the money and the levers to understand that if you invest here,
that's right,
the exponential growth will come from there, because it is our people who will drive it.
That's right. National Council for Arts and Culture, established by Decree number 3 of 1975.
50 years old.
Yeah, amended by Decree number 5 of 1987.
Yeah. And we're about to go through a third round.
Good.
Of legal reform
this year. So before we go, just in a couple of minutes now. So what are you seeing for National Council for Arts and Culture in the next 50?
Oh man. Well, hopefully we'll be a quasi-government institution. So we'll take ourselves off the public purse, and we can operate based on what we're generating in revenue in the private sector and in the ecosystem. Because I know, not think, that we can generate billions of dollars, but we need the seed capital to do so. We need the enabling laws to allow us to do it. Politicians are fond of giving us targets. I say match the target with the resource, and let's have the conversation. And I think that is the real issue. It's for Nigerians to have the self-confidence to understand that the biggest opportunity for Nigerians is Nigerians. That's what we represent. Our sector represents the people of Nigeria. The human expression is the creativity we talk about, right? So when we talk about IP, we're talking about intellectual property, which is something created originally from your original thoughts or expression, and that comes from the human being. And I think the most important investment we can make as a country is into our people. Capacity building is just another form of education. And I'd just like to leave you with a couple of things. One of the biggest things we're working on is something called Origins. Origins is about the fact that we're not just the first on earth as Africans, we're also the first in science, in mathematics, in technology, in architecture, and in divinity, in everything. And we tend to forget this. So when you look at the Nok terracotta, it's 7,000 years or 5,000 years before Jesus. It's here. It's not some other place. Ibuku, same thing. Do you understand? We are ancient people, but we are also modern. And with technology, we can unlock the ancient knowledge within us and bring it to the modern world and actually win in a very different way. Because I think the secret, some people always ask me, what's the secret to Afrobeats? And I say the secret to Afrobeats was when our artists discovered they could win that worldwide by being their authentic self. They didn't need to be Jay-Z. They could be NATO C. They didn't need to be anybody. You could be Wizkid. You could be D'banj, right? And once you understood that, hey, I can just be myself and they're going to love me anyway. Now you're looking at Burna Boy, stadiums worldwide, right? He didn't change anything for anybody. And that's the biggest lesson anybody who's Nigerian needs to learn. If you're your authentic self and focus on that, your opportunity is limitless. But to go fully, you have to dominate locally first. So for me, what I want to see is to grow our domestic ecosystem massively. Let's have a situation where, and it was one of the good things I got to commend Davido for. He's got his 5 tour on. He's added 5 dates to his world tour that are in Nigeria. I want to see much more of that. I want to see Davido doing a 50-date tour in Nigeria. Nigeria has 40 stadiums. We are building venues. We've broken ground on a venue in Abuja. Let's build. This country requires infrastructure. It's soft power, hard power. The hard power is the infrastructure. So we need infrastructure, production lots, venues, studios, galleries, museums. We need that on the hard power side so that creators can create. And that's what the hubs are also there for. The ICE thing is the infrastructure for the creators. And then the creators, once you give them the environment and it's serene and they can think, they can express anything. And once you do that, and maybe you also have the domestic digital platforms on which they can monetize. So it's creating a virtual cycle. Some call it the circular economy, where we retain as much value as possible within Nigeria. We're already seeing from the Creator Economy report last year, Spotify, they paid Nigerian artists 58 billion naira. That's just one platform. There are 459 of these platforms, okay? I'm not saying that we see the same numbers across all of them, but that's to give you a sense of what is happening. By the way, nobody put some budget down to make that happen. Nobody woke up and forced anybody to set up the 1.2 million playlists on Spotify that are playing Afrobeats. Nobody is forcing anybody to watch the 20 billion views of Nigerian content in 2024 on YouTube. So there's something about us. There's something different about what we do and how we do it and how we animate that is causing the world to come. And my real primary focus is how we turn this influence we have to capital. Because once we do that, it's game over.
And I have to thank you so much, Obi Asika, Director General, National Center for Arts and Culture. I should add Chief Obi Asika.
Ojinaka is fine.
Ojinaka.
I know about Chief.
He's a titled man.
Thank you.
Shouldn't be blasting his name like that. All right. Thank you so much for coming on the Eastern Eye tonight.
Man, thanks for having me on. And it's a great show. Great work you do. It's a privilege to have been here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's the Eastern Eye for tonight. We'll be here tomorrow same time. My name is Alex Obodo. Good night.